Hello, happy Thursday. Thank you for finishing your topic 13 math test yesterday. Today we are going to start our topic 14 chapter. And topic 14 is just 5 days, so another short chapter. And topic 14 is all about graphing and keeping track of data that we collect. So the first graph that we're going to talk about is a line plot. And so today, at the end of this lesson, you should be able to say, I can measure the lengths of objects, then make a line plot to organize a graph. So you are going to need your ruler again today. We are going to be measuring some objects and then working together to plot them on a graph. So a line plot is basically a number line that we put our data that we collect. So we pick different objects, we measure their lengths, and then we put a little dot up above that number on the number line. So if a marker is 11 inches, on our number line for our line plot, we would put a little dot above the number 11. And I'll show you what that means in a minute. So we're going to start with this solve and share first. And at a certain point, I'll have you pause the video, go find some objects, and write them, type them here in the box, or write them if you're using your paper packet. And then we can work together to fill in our line plot here. So it says find 4 objects that are each shorter than 9 inches. Measure the length of each object to the nearest inch. Excuse me, record the measurements in the table, then plot the data on the number line. And then we need to figure out which object is longest and which is shortest. So what I would like you to do right now is pause the video, take your ruler, go find 4 different objects around your house and measure them. If they are less than 9 inches, they are objects that you can use. So pause the video now to go and collect your 4 objects that are less than 9 inches. All right, so I found some objects here around my house. So I have a pen. I have a cup. I have a chocolate bunny. And I have a pencil pouch. So those are my 4 objects. And when I used my ruler on the inches side to measure them, my pen measured 6 inches. My cup measured 8 inches. My chocolate bunny also measured 8 inches. And my pencil pouch, oh no, I'm sorry. My chocolate bunny, my pencil pouch was 8 inches. My chocolate bunny was 5 inches. Now, you can pause your video now if you need to fill in your table as well, but this is what your table should look like. The name of your object and how long each object is in inches. And we're making sure that our answers here are precise because we are writing the word inches. If you do not want to write out the whole word inches, you could do lowercase I, lowercase n, and a period. That's an abbreviation for inches. So I found my 4 objects, I measured their length, and I recorded their measurement in the table. Recorded in this scenario means to just write them down. So I did that here. So now what we're going to do is plot the data on the number line. So I told you that on a line plot, we use a number line and draw little dots. So we're going to do that here today. So mine are not going to be perfect. It's going to be easier for you because you'll have paper and pencil. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start with the pen, and we measure that this is 6 inches. So I'm going to find the 6 on my number line, and I'm going to draw a dot above the 6. This is called plotting our data. We're putting our data all together and so that we can look at it all in the same place. So next was my cup, and that was 8 inches. My chocolate bunny was 5 inches. And my pencil pouch was also 8 inches. Now, I already have an object that's measuring 8 inches, so I'm going to put my next dot above it. I left a little bit of space and put it. This shows me on a line plot that there were 2 objects that measured 8 inches. If you had a third object that measured 8 inches, you would put a third dot. Okay, so here are my 4 objects plotted on my line plot. So now our last, excuse me, our last 2 questions were which object is longest and which is shortest. So if we look here, my shortest object is going to be the object that's 5 inches. So I can go back up to my graph here, my chart, and I can say that this is 5 inches and this is the shortest object. And then I look here, 8 inches is the biggest number that I have data plotted. So I know that these 2 are my longest. So I can say that this is my longest object. And this is my longest object because they're both 8 inches long or tall. Okay. Pretty simple. Line plots are pretty easy. Okay. So I'm going to show you a video here. So let's watch together.
What are different ways to display data? Let's find out. What is being measured in the picture?
So we know that this object is a glue stick, right? We've seen something similar at school. Maybe you have some at home. And when we measure, right, we put the one end of our ruler at the beginning of the object and we measure and stop measuring at the other end of the object.
The length of the glue stick is being measured. How long is the glue stick? The glue stick is 2 inches long. You can use a table to record the measurement data. What are the labels at the top of the table? The labels are object and length in inches. What do the numbers in the table tell you? The numbers tell you the length of each object in inches. Select your answer.
So the numbers tell us the length of the objects, right? So we clicked on length of objects. That's what those numbers tell us.
You can make a line plot to show the data. Place a dot over the number that shows each length.
So let's try it. Select each row of the table to show plotting on the number line. So we have the name of the object and all of the objects listed. We have length in inches and what each object measures at. So if we click on glue stick.
The glue stick is 2 inches long.
That's why we have a circle over the 2. If we click on string,
the string and the scissors are 4 inches long.
That's why there's 2 dots, because there are 2 objects whose length is 4 inches. And then the feather at 6.
The feather is 6 inches long. Why do you think this is called a line plot? The data are recorded on a number line. The 2 dots above the 4 tell you that 2 objects are 4 inches long. What is the longest object?
So which object is the longest? Right? Our feather is the longest. It's the largest number on our number line, which means that that object is the longest.
The feather is the longest object.
Now you know how to use a line plot to display data.
All right, so we'll go back. Oops. This one. We'll go back here. We just worked on that. Okay, so my screen does not like to scroll down, so you do have, we'll go over number 2 when we get down there, but these green rectangles, yours are blue actually, but these rectangles are explaining again what the video is stating. So it's very important that when we're using our table, this is the table here, to choose our objects and then in this case measure their length. It's important that we're labeling the top so that we know if we were to give this table of information to someone else, it's important that these are labeled so that they know what they're looking at. Because if we didn't have these titles for each category, someone new who was looking at this would have no idea what they're supposed to be measuring or looking at or trying to gather information about. So it's very important that you label your table. It's also very important that you label your number line and your line plot as well. So we're figuring out lengths of objects. That's the title of the graph. That's the overall goal of what we're working on. And down here, these are number of inches. We're trying to figure out the length of objects in inches. Okay, so what I want you to do right now in the Do You Understand box is take your ruler and measure the pencil that you're using. Okay, measure it in inches, and I want you to write it and add it to this box. Okay, and however long your pencil is, and if it's longer than 8 inches, you can continue to add on to your number line. But I'm going to say that mine is 8 so that I can add it. And then they want you to add another dot above. And that's for the Do You Understand box. And it says to you, how does that change the data? I added my pencil and how long it was, and I added it to my line plot. How does that change the data? Well, the feather is no longer the longest object. My pencil is the longest object. Right? That changed our graph. My pencil was 8 inches. So now the feather was no longer the longest object because I had a pencil that measured a larger number. So they have a marker here for you, and they measured it, and it's 4 inches long. They would like you to now measure the crayon. And if I remember correctly, the crayon is 3 inches long. Okay. And now for some reason, my computer screen will not let me scroll up, but you are going to fill in the chart here with object in length in inches, very similar to this chart. You're going to use the marker and the crayon as your objects. And then you're going to, there's a number line below here. You're going to use that and the length of those objects to plot your points on your line plot. Okay, so you can pause your video now and you can do that. And as we go on in math today, you're going to be doing the same thing. They're going to give you 3 or 4 different objects. You're going to use your ruler and the inches side of your ruler to measure each object and write the number here. So if the paintbrush is 13 inches long, you're going to write the number 13. Okay, I'm just guessing how long it is. It's not 13, so please do use your ruler to measure. Then, again, my screen won't scroll for some reason. But then they have the 4 objects: paintbrush, chalk, straw, and glue stick. You're just going to take your numbers here, make sure you're matching them with the correct object. So the paintbrush, however long it is, you write that number. And then you're going to plot that on your line plot. Okay. And it'll be the same thing here with your problem solving. They've already filled in the chart for you. You're going to plot that data on the line plot, and then you're going to write which is the shortest pencil and explain. That means tell me why it's the shortest pencil. Don't just tell me that it's the yellow pencil that's the shortest. Tell me why. Okay. And then you will work on your homework and practice page, which is the exact same thing. Okay. Have a good day. Talk to you soon. Bye.